Hi, everybody.
Hello, from the future.
Welcome back to our show that we used to do and that we're doing again.
Remember when we did this show? Because I had forgotten.
It's been 3 weeks? Question mark?
Yeah, we've missed 3 Saturdays.
And that's entirely because I was on vacation.
Yeah, you were off gallivanting around, living the life of Riley.
Hey, you could have come if you were willing to climb inside a suitcase.
I wasn't. My knees are too bad for that. I can't stay cooped up like that like I used to. No more suitcase travel for me.
Oh, man.
Gotta get one of those steamer trunks or nothing.
Oh, man. I'll get you a steamer trunk. Do you want it filled with, like, hay, straw, or old newspapers?
Old newspapers. It gives me something to read while I'm in there.
Anyway, usually this is where we would play the opening, but there's no opening theme on this.
I think you should play the closing because it's my favorite song ever.
We'll play the closing at the closing, but here's the chorus. Did you enjoy it?
I love it.
It's a really good song.
It's not, and that's why I love it.
I like it.
The lyrics are such gibberish.
I know, but the song is good.
Is it?
Yeah, I like it. It's catchy.
It is catchy. It's not a bad song. It's just... It's so bizarre, my mind doesn't know how to process it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. There's 2 ways to enjoy it, right? Because you can turn off your brain and not think about the words, and then it's like a pretty decent song. It's a nice little bop. And then you can also enjoy it by engaging your brain and listening to the nonsense gibberish that they say.
That's how I like to enjoy it.
They're both valid. So this is episode 2 of the 1996 Sonic the Hedgehog OVA.
Should we do a bit of a recap of the first one?
No. If you want a recap of the first one, the episode is still available and it will be in a playlist with this one.
Well, fine. I was asking for my sake.
Do you want a recap? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, you don't remember what... Well, let's talk about the release of this first. This episode is called Sonic vs. Metal Sonic, and it was written by Masashi Kubota, who also wrote the last one. Most of the production notes about this are exactly the same as the last one, so I won't dwell on them. But this tape was released on March 22nd, 1996 for rental only. That was about 2 months after the first one released. And then on May 31st, which was about 2 months after this one released, they both went on general sale. So you could buy them and take them home.
Wow.
So this episode begins exactly where the first one left off.
Yeah, Eggman's cool city.
Yeah. Do you need a refresher on what happened?
I largely remembered in the course of watching the second episode, but when things came up that I had forgotten about, I was like, oh yeah, there's a cat girl for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Black Eggman.
Yep. Oh yeah, the president.
There are a lot of moments like that. Like, oh yeah, the cat girl and Eggman were inside of Black Eggman.
Yeah, that's what was going on. Yeah, so when we left off, I guess the last time we saw Eggman and Sarah, it had just been revealed that they had been inside Black Eggman the whole time. I don't even remember where we left the president.
I guess just at the White House.
I guess so. Old Man Owl was left guarding Sonic and Tails' house.
Oh my god, can we please get into Old Man Owl as quickly as possible? Because I can't handle him.
Oh, we'll get to him. Don't worry about it. So, yes, it ended. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles had been united as friends. And they headed off to arrive at Eggman Land. And now we see them here, standing at the entrance, ready to go inside Eggman's base. I'm really wondering, I don't know if you remember this, Mel, but in part 1, Knuckles just kind of floated around like Superman the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, he actually glides correctly.
Downward, being pulled towards hell. The devil is trying to collect his soul.
He's always gliding in that like pose that he does in the game in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the last one, he was mostly just standing in the air in a standing pose.
Just hovering.
Yeah. I wonder if the animators were corrected by Sonic Team, like, between the episodes.
Probably not even Sonic Team, just a bunch of Sonic fans.
As they're running in, they get beset by snail blasters from Sonic 3.
I love Snail Blaster. It looked so cute and oblivious, and yet so dangerous.
I know, it's great. Because episode 1 had Caterkiller and Buzz Bomber, which are, it's probably what I would choose if I were just choosing random Sonic robots. Those are some very iconic ones. And then now we got Snail Blasters.
Everyone's best friend.
It's not a robot I would think of off the top of my head, But I love that it's what they went with.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Yeah, it sure is. The egg generator is a big vibrating Eggman head down in the depths of the base.
He's really committed to putting his face on everything.
He has a brand.
He does, and good for him.
He knows what he's selling, and it's him.
It's him and all of his voluptuousness.
It's not quite Adventures of Eggman with the sexiness.
No, he's a little too goofy in this one.
Yeah. He's not having like giant naked statues of himself made.
Yet.
He's got to put on a bit more weight for that. This Eggman doesn't have the body for it, is the thing.
That's true.
I don't know that I can picture this Eggman naked.
I think the problem is Eggman is not as in love with himself. He's trying to marry Sarah, but he should be marrying himself.
That's true. That's a really weird thing about this specific incarnation of Eggman.
Yeah.
Because every other Eggman, I think of any other version of Eggman, and I cannot picture him wanting a romantic partner.
Mm-mm.
Because there is nobody who's going to match up to him in his head, and he knows it. So he's not interested. This Eggman is the exception on that, and it's kind of strange.
This Eggman is just like the princess stealing Bowser, and it doesn't feel correct.
No, it doesn't. Man, I'm trying to think now if there's ever been any other incarnation of Eggman who has had a romantic interest, and I can't think of one. His romantic interest has always been him.
Yeah. That's the Eggman we want. That's the Eggman we need.
He's all about self-love.
Good for him.
He's an icon and a revelation and a role model.
We should all aspire to be like Eggman.
Yeah, practice self-love. Eat a big sandwich.
Build a giant city with your likeness on it.
Build a giant space-bound death laser that looks like your nose.
Build an evil version of yourself in robot form. Have it shoot poop goop at you.
I forgot about the poop goop.
Oh, I couldn't stop thinking about it as soon as I was reminded of Black Eggman.
That is his primary method of attack.
Yeah, it was 50% of the first episode.
So anyway, they're running on conveyor belts. They're trying to get to the generator. And Sonic manages to stop it with 1 second left to go. And he gets kind of trapped in there.
Yeah, it was a little unclear how he got trapped in some green rectangles, but he did.
Yeah, I was a bit. They kind of slide out and around him somehow. I've always been confused by it slightly. But anyway, it looks like he's getting zapped. And we see that Tails is like examining it as it's happening. He's not trying to get him out. He's just kind of like, huh, what's this?
Well, he's still. I guess he's flying by that point.
Yeah.
And Knuckles is still running on the conveyor belt.
Yeah, Knuckles is the one who's trying to get Sonic out. Tails is just examining the machine that Sonic's trapped in.
Thanks, Tails.
For good reason. Which will come into play later in the story. But this is where Metal Sonic shows up. His introduction is extremely long and drawn out. And very ominous.
Yeah, you would think that he is an Eggman nose death laser, but it's just metal.
I love Metal Sonic. He's so cool.
I am not as wrist deep in the lore as you are, so I've never really understood the point of Metal Sonic.
Well, what's to understand? It is Sonic, but metal.
I know, but like, for a man that loves himself so much, why did he make a killer robot out of his enemy?
Oh, he loves Sonic too. That's the whole thing. So this was actually Metal Sonic's first ever appearance in an animated adaptation. He first appeared in Sonic CD in 1993, which was about 3 years before this. And Naoto Oshima, who directed that game and also designed Sonic originally, wanted to introduce a new rival for Sonic. He didn't design Metal Sonic, but Metal was designed to look menacing. That was the main thing they kept in mind. I find Metal really interesting because he's the only rival that they've ever introduced for Sonic who didn't become at least somewhat friendly with Sonic by the end of the game.
I thought for sure that he was going to, because it's confirmed that he has Sonic's personality crammed up inside of him.
Yes. Well, we do get a kind of a face turn for Metal Sonic in this movie, or in this episode, which never happened in the games. In the games, he has been 100% antagonist at all times.
Pure evil.
But he's such a cool design. He does look really intimidating.
He looks very pointy.
He is very pointy. It's the eyes that really... I sent you that picture earlier from the comic that I just got, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he's looking all menacing. That's the first page of the new book that came today for me. That book is IDW Sonic's Overpowered, by the way, for anyone who's wondering.
No one was wondering.
Wow. So Metal Sonic just kind of stands there up in Sonic's face.
Yeah. It takes a while for something to happen.
Yeah. And then what happens is like those little ghost flames appear all over the room.
Black Eggman is revived from the dead. He feeds off of the wayward souls that are just sitting around in the city for some reason.
So I think the intention here is that Eggman is going really far out of his way to keep up the illusion of Black Eggman. And he's doing that by trying to make it look like Black Eggman is returning from the dead.
And that's exactly what it is when you see he's being held aloft by all those robots.
Yeah, but the illusion falls apart when Black Eggman falls apart. Which I don't think was part of the intention.
No, but it's a lot of showmanship that I appreciate.
Yeah, and Eggman is all about showmanship. It's one of the things I love about him.
Just because he has a theme park with his face all over it.
I think Ian Flynn, who is one of the main writers of Sonic right now, compared Dr. Eggman to a circus ringleader, and I thought that was pretty apt.
Yeah. The body language definitely gives me that.
Yeah. So Eggman and Sarah are revealed to be inside of Black Eggman. Sarah is still extremely annoying.
That doesn't change.
No, it never changes. It never stopped, and it never stops. She tells Sonic all about Eggman's plan to, I don't really know what it was.
Yeah, that's the part of the recap that I needed, because I couldn't quite remember how Eggman had tricked them into going into the dark world.
He told them that his generator was going to explode because Black Eggman had taken over and let the generator run wild. And that if the generator exploded, it would blow up the whole world.
Oh, okay.
But then I don't think any of that was true. And he was just trying to lure Sonic here, even though he tried to kill Sonic on the way here. So I don't really know.
This wasn't one of his better plans. I don't think he thought this one through.
No. And why did he bring Sarah?
Didn't she wind up in the cockpit because she thought it was fun or something, and then Eggman just...
That's another thing, because he was just chilling out at the White House playing video games with Sarah until she said she wanted to go for a drive and got into Black Eggman, and then they took off. Which made it seem to me like none of it was planned. Anyway, I really love the way Eggman is animated in this. He has so much personality.
There's a lot of fun animation in this.
Yeah.
By fun, I mean dumb in the best possible way.
So the plan is that Eggman is going to... He lured them down here, and now he's going to have Metal Sonic defeat Sonic and then go on to destroy the Land of the Sky. He explains that while Sonic was trapped in the generator, his data was being copied into Metal Sonic. So now Metal Sonic has like an exact copy of Sonic's brain patterns or something.
It doesn't really seem that necessary, when it seems like the most he gets out of that is knowing where Sonic lives so he can smash up his house. Because otherwise he's just going around smashing up literally everything, and I don't think you need Sonic's brain to do that.
No, it doesn't even seem like something Sonic would do.
Yeah, that's the part that confused me.
Yeah, me too.
But I guess his personality isn't active, but...
Yeah. But then why bother? Like, isn't that the main thing you're after?
So you could put Old Man Owl in Sonic's favorite clothes. That's what everything leads to.
Yeah. We'll get to that. I really liked that Eggman shows some respect to Tails' intelligence here. Because as he's explaining it, he's like, Tails, I'm sure you noticed this. And we saw Tails noticing it. So
yeah.
So we get the first little bit of a fight between Sonic and Metal Sonic. And I really like the music.
Yeah, we established that this is a unique soundtrack, right? It's not from any of the games.
Yeah, it's just for this.
It's very good. I enjoyed it.
It's all, it's a lot of like synth organs and stuff. It's really nice. I like it.
It's got that 90s Sonic flavor.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not from any of the games, but it feels like it could be. That's what I like about it. So Metal Sonic, I guess, just kind of beats the shit out of Sonic and carries him away by the leg.
Yeah, what a wiener. Sonic sucks.
Tails tries to chase him, but Knuckles is like, we're not going to catch up with those, you know.
With two of the fastest things on the planet.
Yeah. And then just like a giant stalactite comes falling from the Land of the Sky and like smashes into Eggman Land. I guess Eggman's done with the place now.
I guess. It's not clear.
So, I really liked the part where Metal bends his leg down in an unnatural way and then twists his entire body to kick Sonic off the pillar.
That was incredible. I loved it so much.
It was really good. And then he just seems to register Sonic as dead.
Yeah, we all kind of register Sonic as dead because he disappears and we move on with our lives.
Yeah, and we see like a heart monitor flatline for him.
Oh, yeah. And he's on top dancing like a madman.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tails and Knuckles go to pick up the tornado and go home. They're done.
Time to find a new Sonic.
I heard there's a metal one around.
Old Man Owl sure looks like the old one.
Old Man Owl. Here, this is where he makes his debut in this episode. Relaxing on the beach at night.
That's the part that's crazy. It is nighttime.
You never relaxed on a beach at night?
I haven't been to the beach in like 15 years.
Oh. And Metal Sonic shows up, menacingly walking towards him on the beach. He thinks it's Sonic, of course, because it's Old Man Owl.
And he can't see
In
anything.
the first episode, he thought a flower was Sonic for a decent
Yes,
chunk
he
of
did.
time.
Yes, he did.
Morning arrives, and Sonic awakes in some bushes. I don't, I don't know about you, but we cut to the president looking out over the destruction across the land of the sky, and I laughed because he's just like, "Is this Black Eggman?" And I'm like, "Wow, nobody updates the president on anything, I guess." Like, it's the
Sonic
next
the
day.
Hedgehog!
It's the next day, and nobody has bothered to tell the president that the whole Black Eggman thing was fake.
Did they know that it was fake?
They know that it's fake now.
Well, like, Tails and Knuckles are established to be too busy for all that nonsense.
I suppose. I guess they're still on their way home, huh?
Yeah, and even when they get home, Knuckles doesn't want to answer the call from the president.
That's true. Yeah, they get back to Sonic's house, and Knuckles comments on how wrecked up it is, and says only Eggman would do something like this, but I don't think it looks any different. I think that's how it looked.
The same dumpy island.
Yeah, like their house was always just a pile of destroyed vehicles. They've just added some smoke to it.
Like, the house, or the lab or whatever, they established was the one thing left untouched.
Yes.
It's the rest of the island that got wrecked up, I guess.
I guess, but it looks the same to me. That's about how I remember it. I guess it's been a while since we watched it, but Tails remembers that the old man was here watching the house, and they get worried about him. But he's fine. He's wearing Sonic's favorite clothes.
He looks incredible. He looks like a fellow kid.
My favorite line in this whole episode is Sonic was here last night. He forced me to put on his clothes and then flew away without saying anything.
Don't you hate when that happens?
He doesn't question Sonic just flying away. He's just like, oh yeah, well, I didn't think he could fly, but it's what happened.
That wasn't the weird part. The weird part was him forcing him into his clothes.
Yeah.
Honestly, when he delivered that line, that was the part that I got stuck in. I didn't even notice Sonic flew away. I was like, why are you in his clothes?
Yeah, why would he do that? Yeah. Not even just like he gave me his clothes to wear. He forced him to put them on. He says that.
Because Sonic, like, he can low-key fly. We don't call it flying, but Sonic can basically fly.
I mean...
You see the way he flies through the air?
He jumps.
He jumps, like, stories.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he perches on the tip-top of a mountain, and he launches off of that again and flies through the air.
I suppose. Yeah? If you go fast enough, you can functionally fly.
Yeah?
I guess. You just have to launch yourself good enough.
You just have to roll up into a ball, and you gotta tap a whole bunch of times. You'll go real, real fast.
And then if it's a newer game, you can do tricks. Launch yourself further in the air.
Defy gravity, stay in the air forever and ever. But it's not flying.
No. That's Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. So Eggman gives Sarah a wedding dress. And she does not put two and two together.
No, even after she puts it on and calls it a wedding dress, she doesn't quite understand.
She's super jazzed to receive it. She's mad about being his captive, but she's very excited to receive a wedding dress.
I mean, free clothes.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have probably looked that gift horse in the mouth.
Did you remember that Eggman gave Tails a watch to lead him to Eggman Land?
I did not until they mentioned it.
Yeah. Tails is tinkering with the watch. assuming that he can change it to lead him to Metal Sonic instead, because he figures wherever Metal Sonic is, that's where Sonic's going to be.
For some reason.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's probably a safe assumption that Sonic will be trying to fight Metal still.
But that wasn't the logic he used.
It isn't the logic he used. No, the logic he uses is that since Metal Sonic knew where Sonic's house was and knew what Sonic's favorite clothes was, that means that he has a full copy of Sonic's brain and his memories and thoughts and motivations.
Yeah.
Tails specifically says he has Sonic's motivations, and all that makes me think is, then why is he destroying everything?
Maybe Sonic actually really wants to destroy the world, but something keeps him on the side of good.
Tails.
Tails! We need to make a Metal Tails! That's the only thing to stop Metal Sonic.
Yeah, it has to be. It's the only difference is that he doesn't have a Tails.
There's another universe where Sonic is an untethered madman.
I found it funny that Tails says that it's like Sonic and Metal Sonic are twins because they have the same thoughts and memories. Because that's the one thing that twins don't share.
Right. They are their own unique individual people.
I don't know if Tails knows what a twin is. He might be thinking of a clone.
Yeah.
The president is watching a damage report and he sees what he thinks is Sonic causing it. So his first thought is to call Sonic. Get Sonic on the phone.
Get Sonic on the phone. We need him to stop Sonic.
Sonic, are you doing this?
Are you doing war crimes, Sonic?
I love that. So yeah, we see Knuckles. Knuckles isn't answering the phone because he's repairing the tornado, which apparently is a thing he can do. I think there's no way that Game Knuckles could repair the tornado. He would only make it worse.
Well, he is working on the tail that's all dinged up. What makes us think he wasn't the one that dinged it?
That's true. Maybe he's just undoing. He came down and he was like, I'm going to punch this thing back into shape.
Why isn't it working?
So the old man answers the phone, but seems to immediately forget that he's done that.
The old man has spent the entire time since his introduction dancing in Sonic's clothes.
That's true.
This includes as he's on the phone.
He is really into these clothes. They have turned him into a dance machine.
They have awoken something important within him.
The 90s. They've awoken the spirit of the 90s inside this old man. I love Knuckles just kind of shows up and yells at the president. And clearly doesn't know who he's talking to. Until the old man notices the president's on the phone and is like, oh, hello, Mr. President.
And only then, Knuckles only seems mildly caught off guard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Knuckles isn't the kind of... I don't think Knuckles... I think he has diplomatic immunity.
It's the hat.
As the final survivor of the people of Angel Island, surely he's they can't touch him. It'd be a war crime to put him in jail.
I mean, to be fair, it would be some kind of crime to be the reason for the extinction of all echidnas.
Yeah. This is where we go back to Eggman and Sarah, and he finally spells out his plan to marry her. And then she imagines herself with 1 million baby Eggman.
Yeah.
Egg boys.
I love that they're all just exact clones of him.
Yeah, did they? I think they even had mustaches, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Usually when people show somebody's theoretical kids, they have miniature versions of both parents, but this is just Eggman, and I thought it was perfect.
That's all she can imagine. Of that the only thing that's changed is that they have slightly more pastel colors.
Mm-hmm.
Is she breastfeeding one? I think she is.
It sure looks like it.
She has a titty out right there.
That's very progressive of Sonic.
My favorite is the one in the car who's looking right at us.
I like the one tugging at her apron.
With the giant mouth.
Uh-huh.
He's pretty good. Oh, look at that angry one on Eggman's back. Is one of them peeing?
Where?
There's like one...
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh, he's peeing on Eggman's head.
What a weird daydream, Sarah. As much as I love that they're all just carbon copies of Eggman, I do kind of wish they had cat ears and a tail.
Yeah, or at least one or the other.
Yeah. I just want to see Catgirl Eggman.
Yeah, they should all have. Yeah, you're right. They absolutely should all have cat parts too. Missed opportunity. The president doubts that metal could really destroy the land of the sky, but Knuckles, who is worldly wise and has traveled the entire planet, explains a way that it could be possible. Did you follow this?
Not even a little bit.
I have seen this movie probably at least 10 times, so I now understand it. But it took a long time.
It just makes it seem like the entire planet they're living on is extremely delicate.
Yeah, and I think that's because that's what it is. It didn't help that I mostly watched the dub version, and the dub confuses things by describing the land of the sky and the land of darkness as separate dimensions. So I thought they were literally on separate planes of existence. But they're not. The land of the sky is in the sky, and the land of darkness is underneath it. What Knuckles explains here is that the floating islands that make up the land of the sky are all anchored to the planet by a bunch of glaciers that connect them to the ground. So if metal destroys the glaciers, the centrifugal force of the planet will hurl the islands into space.
Okay. So the rest of the planet is fine, except for all the molten lava.
Everybody down in the land of darkness will survive, which is Eggman and only Eggman, because all the people live in the land of the sky.
He's been banished to the naughty dimension.
Yeah, it seems like it's post-apocalypse Earth, because I don't know if you remember, but in the first episode they went to the city, which they called the Ancient Relics, and it seemed to be New York, but abandoned and sinking into the ocean. And I think that's a really cool setting. Post-apocalypse Earth, where everybody's moved to islands in the sky. That's awesome.
What if Sonic and Kirby take place in the same universe?
Oh, yeah. Because Kirby had a post-apocalypse Earth.
Sure did.
It's had a couple, really. Like, Shiverstar from Kirby 64 is what I consider to be the actual Earth. But the place you go to in the new game is pretty abandoned Earth adjacent as well.
Yeah.
But Shiverstar has the actual land masses. When you look at it from space, it's actually
I know you sent me a video about that years and years ago, but I don't remember it very well.
Yeah, it's basically like Shiverstar is the ice planet from Kirby 64, and it's completely frozen. And you go there and you go to like abandoned factories and an abandoned mall and stuff. But if you look at the planet on the map screen, just look at the textures on the planet, you can just about make out all the land masses of Earth just frozen. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the intention was that it was supposed to be Earth.
Thanks, Kirby. This is all you're doing.
Kirby gets dark in so many places, but it always tucks it away where you won't necessarily see it.
You can't see it because there's a cute pink blob in front of it.
If you get far enough in the games, you usually see it. If you get enough crystals to awaken dark matter.
No, I can't stop looking at Kirby.
Then you fight the resurrected angel form of dark matter's core, which is now bleeding from the eye. Remember that?
I do remember that. Good times.
Yeah. So here's a part that I never understood until right now watching it today. Tails tells the president not to tell Sonic any of the stuff about how to destroy the world. And I never really understood why.
Well, obviously they have a neural link because Sonic was scanned one time.
Yeah, that's the part that I didn't realize until this time. Because it turns out that Sonic was there and heard the whole thing. He was standing at the back of the room listening because there is
He's
no
so proud of
security.
himself, and it's like, thanks, Sonic, you just doomed humanity.
Yeah, and then we realize that, or we're supposed to realize, I didn't realize until this viewing, but we're supposed to realize that now, because Sonic knows that, Metal knows it too. And then the president gets a call saying that Metal suddenly changed direction and headed for the polar ice cap to smash the glaciers. I don't know why, it just never twigged for me. I think because every time I've watched it before, I thought Knuckles was explaining a plan that Metal already had.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until this time that I realized that Knuckles gave him that plan.
Oh. That was the only part of that entire monologue that I understood.
Oh, so we understood two different factors of it.
Uh-huh.
But Sonic just vanishes. That's like the most Sonic thing that he does in this entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just vanishing while everyone else is talking.
Flying away like he does.
Yeah. That Tails thinks that he can use the watch to adjust Metal's programming to try and awaken Sonic's personality in him. Again, like, if that's not the point, I don't understand why Eggman wanted Sonic's brainwaves in Metal. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It does not, but we're here now.
This is where the real fight starts, and again, really good music. I love it.
Yes, very good soundtrack, this entire OVA.
Sonic and Metal are evenly matched because they can predict each other's moves. This is like a famous meme scene.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you since I know everything you're going to do. Strange, isn't it?
I've seen that redrawn with like so many different things. I saw a Garfield version of it.
And you didn't send it to me?
I probably did, but it was a long time ago. Oh no, you know what? I probably didn't because you hadn't seen this and you wouldn't have understood it.
No, but I do just appreciate some dumb Garfield.
So Eggman's ship warps in and they crash into the bottom of it.
Oh yeah! And Metal Sonic's head shoots through the floor.
And then Sonic starts losing his dang old mind.
Yeah, can you explain what that was?
He's embarrassed. So if you look closely at his expressions, you can see that he's like smiling and his cheeks are flushing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's what it is he Metal just saw Sarah's panties.
Oh.
And Sonic is syncing up with the emotion of that.
Why is Sonic syncing up with Metal Sonic?
I don't know. I don't know why that's happening, but Eggman says that's what's happening. So
I know that's what he said. That's what why? Sonic is an organic thing.
I know. Yeah, there's really no reason for it. For whatever reason, their connection has become spiritual at this point.
Do you think they're gonna kiss?
No, because Metal was not born with lips. I have no lips and I must smooch.
I must kiss. Maybe that's why Metal never did a face turn.
Because he couldn't kiss.
Yeah, he just stayed bitter over his lack of lips.
All the other rivals kissed Sonic. He's kissed Knuckles, he's kissed Shadow, he's kissed Jet. But he just can't kiss Metal.
Well, he cannot have a reciprocal kiss from Metal.
That's true. They can't French kiss.
That's how you get all those good hero juices. That's how you make a hero chow.
You French kiss it. And if you want a dark chow, you got to French kick it.
No, you just get a naughty boy to French kiss it.
Oh, you gotta get Rouge or Shadow to French kiss it.
Yeah. Or Eggman.
Or Eggman, yeah.
Eggman would never unless it looked exactly like him.
No, exactly. And there is no Eggman Chow, so
That seems like an oversight.
it does. Yeah, there's a Sonic Chow, a Knuckles Chow, a Tails Chow, an Amy Chow, a Shadow Chow. No Eggman Chow.
Disgusting. Despicable.
Yep. For an Eggman Chow, you have to reverse the sizes of the head and body of the Chow. And then put a moustache on it. So Sarah falls out of the ship for some reason, and Knuckles catches her.
I don't know, terminal embarrassment?
Yeah, I guess. I missed what happened. Something happened.
Something happened.
And the ship tilted, and she fell out. I love Tails flies past in the tornado and just smacks the wing into metal.
Yeah.
This is where Eggman launches the missiles at him.
Oh my god, what were the missiles?
The tortoise and the hare missiles.
Yes, like, it took me a second to understand the premise, and then I was just so baffled by the fact that he implemented that.
Well, he does call it a design flaw.
The tortoise missile is probably my favorite thing in the whole series.
Yeah. So the hair missile just goes and just destroys the tornado, I guess. We don't see it again after this.
There's a big explosion.
Yeah, we don't even see like the wreck of the tornado, I don't think. Or do we see Tails climb out? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I think I might be thinking of seeing him climb out in the first part. Because the tornado crashes in part 1 too, but we see Sonic and Tails climb out of it. I can't remember if that happens here as well. But yeah, the hair missile destroys it, and then the tortoise one is just is just struggling along at a snail's pace.
He's lumbering. He's living his best life.
I do like the Eggman is just kind of like, oh, well, never mind. Like, he's clearly disappointed with it, but he's also a little bit supportive of it too.
Yeah.
It's like, you're trying your best.
Like it has a purpose. It doesn't seem to be going to attack anyone.
No. It just kind of struggles along.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of stuff happens here, which I kind of lost track of. Somehow, Sarah, Tails, and Knuckles end up inside a snowball.
Yeah, when Tails gets knocked out of the tornado, then he like lands at the top of a mountain and he's rolling down
Oh, that's right, yeah. And then he ends up in a snowball, and then that engulfs Sarah and Knuckles, and then Tails touches some titties.
Uh-huh. And Knuckles is appalled.
It's... The stuff that was going on with Sarah here is a little bit much.
Yeah.
Like, first Metal looks at her underwear, then almost immediately Tails touches her boobs.
It was a weird time for anime.
And then she gives Knuckles a kiss, which seems to give him the ability to survive in molten rock.
Oh yeah, she questions his manhood and gives him a kiss, and that gives him the power to save the world.
Yeah. So he leaps, because they've noticed that the magma is getting close to boiling over and destroying the glaciers. But then Knuckles digs through it and makes a bunch of holes so that the magma can leak out. But he just digs through the magma. And the only thing that catches fire is his cool hat.
I don't know that the magma was there yet.
I'm pretty sure he goes like right through it.
Yeah, that's why his hat caught fire.
Yeah. I know, you could be right, but I sure got the impression he was digging directly through the magma.
Maybe he's like Mole Knight from Shovel Knight.
Maybe he is.
Maybe that's what he turns into.
He does get the shovel claws in Sonic Adventure.
There you go.
So there you go. That's the whole thing, I guess.
Confirmed.
Sonic is absolutely losing this fight, right?
Yeah, he's not having a good time.
He's getting kicked all over the place. Metal Sonic picks him up by the neck and starts choking him. But Tails manages to reprogram him, which stuns him for a moment. So Sonic has a chance to spin dash him.
Yeah, it really didn't last long, the whole personality reprogramming.
No, I really thought the point was to turn Metal good, but I guess they just ended up using it to stun him so they could kill him.
He felt his first feeling, and he didn't like it, which is, a mood.
And just as they start to celebrate, the president and the old man show up unprompted.
Unprompted, unbidden.
And the old man crashes their ship into the magma cliff for no reason.
To add a little bit of drama.
Yeah, I love that you can see the president in there struggling to get out, but the old man is just still sitting in the pilot's seat, calmly sitting there with his hands on the wheel. I don't think he knows they've crashed. So they need to rescue the president and the old man from the ship before the magma blows the ship up, which they seem to imply would also destroy the glacier.
Everything is going to destroy the glacier at this point.
But the ship does blow up and the glacier doesn't seem to be damaged. Anyway.
Because Sonic saved the day. Sonic and Knuckles saved the day.
So Metal shows back up and he's all damaged and broken now. And he's blocking them from reaching the ship to save the president.
But then...
Tails is going to overload him again. Because that's the thing. Like, it seems like it's just like, okay, just do the same thing again. But Eggman shows up and shoots the watch. And I think this really shows something about Eggman, right? Because he's a crack shot with that gun. He shot the watch on Tails' wrist. At any time, he could have pulled that gun out and just got a headshot on Sonic. But he doesn't. He wants to do this his own way.
I mean, if you want to take it in that direction, I guess you're not wrong.
He will not be satisfied unless Sonic is beaten by one of his robots. Just shooting Sonic isn't good enough for him.
No, that doesn't feel like a victory.
No.
Unless the gun was shaped like his face, and so was the bullet.
It's the whack-a-mole bit, right? Like, I don't know why Knuckles is still digging. I feel like his job was done.
Well, that's just his job in life. He dig tunnel.
I guess. So he's just digging around for fun at this point. He's made a lot of holes. He's real proud of them. But before he can show anyone, Sonic and Metal start hopping through and doing a whack-a-mole bit with him. And Sonic steps on his head. And we know Knuckles is mad because he gives Sonic a thumbs down.
The ultimate disapproval.
And this is where things, I felt, got a little bit rushed. Because Metal crashes into the ship, causing it to explode. But then Metal rescues the president and the old man from the wreckage.
Yeah, he's got all the Sonic feelings crammed up inside him.
Yeah, it didn't feel that earned to me.
Yeah.
It just comes out of nowhere. I mean, I guess they've been talking about it the whole time, but we never really saw any hint of it before this.
Right, because activating those emotions inside of him just made him stop for a while.
Yeah. But he gets, I guess, some falling piece of debris knocks him down into the lava hole. And then Sonic rushes in to save him. Because he did one good thing now.
Yeah, now you can save his life. He's a good guy.
But as Sonic reaches his hand out, Metal crawls up toward him. And Knuckles holds Sonic back because he's worried Metal will drag him down too. But Metal just gets up there and slaps Sonic's hands away and tells him that there's only one Sonic. And then just gives him intense eye contact as the rising lava consumes his body.
It was very intense.
Yeah, I really like this scene. I think it's really cool. It doesn't feel earned as part of the larger story. But the way all the shots are laid out, the animation in it, the way it's colored, is just really well done, I think.
I liked it. I couldn't decide if it would have been better for that dramatic ending or for him to actually rescue Metal.
I think I prefer him not rescuing him.
I think I do too. But like at the same time, it wouldn't have felt wrong if he did.
No, not at all. But the image of Metal's scary eyes looking up through the heat haze in this bright red cavern.
Getting consumed by lava.
Yeah. It's just something iconic about it to me. Metal Sonic is played by Masami Kikuchi, who also plays Sonic. Not surprisingly. But in English, he was played by Gary Dehan, who was the ADR director for the movie.
This is my clone of Sonic the Hedgehog. He's the exact same in every way, except for his voice.
He's also had additional voices roles in a bunch of other ADV films dubs. I guess because he's always the ADR director.
Just sneaking himself into everything.
They had one line for Metal, so I can understand why they didn't bring in a whole nother actor for that.
I guess.
But it's a bit strange that they didn't just have Sonic's actor do it. Was he not up to a second voice?
What do you mean I gotta talk like a robot? I gotta talk deeper or something. This is a perfect voice.
It's pretty common that they just have the voice of Sonic do the voice of Metal as well, though, because the one time that video game Metal Sonic has had lines is in Sonic Heroes, and it was the same guy who played Sonic in that too.
Because it makes a sense.
Yeah, it sure does. So everyone's gathered to have a moment of silence for Metal Sonic. Or I guess only Sonic is really having the moment of silence, and everyone else is asking him why he's having a moment of silence.
Yeah, everyone else has moved on. They're confused as to why he's having a moment of silence.
Yeah, he's the only one who got any kind of connection to Metal. I guess he was literally connected to Metal.
Somehow.
But Eggman still has a copy of all Sonic's data, and he says he's going to use it to make another Metal Sonic. Until...
Our favorite character, who's been plodding along in the background this whole time.
Yeah, there's like the establishing shot just after Metal dies. You can see the slow-moving turtle missile in the distance.
And he comes closer and closer.
And then as Eggman is bragging about how he can just do this all again, Knuckles turns and notices the slow-moving turtle missile showing up. And
it eats his personality disc and then explodes.
Yeah. I love that missile.
Me too. Bring him back in the next Sonic game.
And then the one loose end that needs to be tied up is that Knuckles requires revenge. So he punches Sonic in the head as payback for Sonic stepping on his head.
And everything is right with the world.
And Knuckles runs away and Sonic chases him, playing their love games. And then everyone else chases Sonic. And the show ends when Sonic gets tired of being chased and runs off on his own.
And the show ends with our favorite song.
Yes. And we get to listen to Lookalike one more time. Did you like it?
I did like it.
I liked it.
I feel like it would have worked better if I had watched it one after the other.
I guess it makes sense that the English version was released as a full movie.
Yeah.
Again, like we said last time, my only real complaint is that Sarah is here and Amy isn't.
Yeah.
Where's Amy?
It's terrible.
I'm just so mad that Amy's not in it.
Maybe she is working on the technology to give Metal Sonic some lips.
By technology, you mean fan fiction.
Then Sonic and Metal Sonic lean in as the sun sets behind them.
It is established canon that Amy writes fan fiction about her friends. I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't know that.
it's in one of the comics.
Does she write Sonic Mpreg?
Maybe. We don't get to see that much. Yes, Sonic and Shadow Mpreg fiction.
And Knuckles and some egg stuff.
Do bats lay eggs? I don't think they do.
I don't think they do. Bats are mammals, aren't they?
Yeah, but so are echidnas, aren't they?
That's true.
But I don't think bats do. I think you're right.
Do bats lay eggs? Bats do not lay eggs
Okay.
because they are mammals. I learned that some species of snakes give live birth.
Yeah, don't some sharks as well?
I thought most sharks did.
Oh, did you? I think some lay eggs. I'm not sure.
I deleted do bats lay eggs, and one of the suggested things to ask next is do whales lay eggs? Do sharks lay eggs? Majority give birth to live young.
Okay, but some don't.
Some don't.
Interesting.
Because it's a well-known fun animal fact that baby sharks will like eat each other in the womb.
Baby shark did.
Don't! You're gonna make everyone in the world mad.
You brought it up.
I just said the words.
I know.
It's a thing.
I watched like a trailer. There's a Baby Shark movie coming out.
Why?
They played it before Spider-Verse. I don't understand. It's a movie, but the trailer I saw was just the song with like increasing family members on each verse.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's what the entire movie is. Just an
Probably.
hour and a half of continuing to go through all the different family members of this shark.
What if it's like a shark dynasty and it sings us through the troubled history of a toxic family that destroys itself?
I would take my children to see that. All right, should we talk about the dub of the Sonic
Do
OVA,
it.
not Baby Shark, the movie?
No, that's never gonna get dubbed.
So, besides this episode being combined with the first one to make a movie, the dub is pretty faithful. There's not really any major changes to point out besides like standard localization stuff that we talked about before. Like Eggman becomes Robotnik, Black Eggman becomes Metal Robotnik. Though in the dub, when Knuckles is introducing himself to the president on the phone, in the dub he refers to himself as Sonic's best friend. Which I always thought was presumptuous.
I mean, I think that's the thing. Knuckles is one of those people that thinks of Sonic as his best friend, and therefore it's mutual.
I think Sonic is Knuckles' only friend.
Also that. What about Team Chaotix? Knuckles had friends.
That's true. For a while, I don't think Knuckles Chaotix was canon, but I think it is again now. So he can be friends with Chaotix again now.
That stupid bee that no one likes.
Hey, I love that bee.
I know you do.
He's an ADHD poster child.
You mean ADHB?
Yeah. So there is one interesting thing that I want to say about the dub. Around the point where Knuckles catches Sarah, she refers to him as Mogura-chan, which is translated literally as Mr. Mole, which in turn led to the promotional material for the dub referring to Knuckles as a mole. In Japanese, Mogura-chan wasn't exactly inaccurate, because the Japanese word for echidna is Harimogura, which literally translates as needle mole.
Needle mole.
So that's what they call them that's what they call an echidna in Japan. They call it a needle mole.
Needle moles and needle mice.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I can't remember if we've ever talked about this on the show before, but there's an infamous drawing of Sonic which is labeled as Mr. Needle Mouse. It's like a pre-production Sonic 1 drawing. And that led a lot of English-speaking fans to think that Mr. Needle Mouse was an in-development name for Sonic, that at some point he was going to be called that. But then Sonic Team were asked about it, and they were really confused. And they were like, no, he was never going to be called Mr. Needle Mouse. That's strange. But it turns out it's all just a big miscommunication. They just innocently labeled it Mr. Needle Mouse because the Japanese word for hedgehog is Harinezumi, which literally means needle mouse. And fans thought that was a prototype name for Sonic. It wasn't.
Darn.
It was never supposed to be. But what about the legacy? of this.
What about it? What is it? What stain has it left on our planet?
As far as I'm aware, this OVA was the original genesis of the idea that Metal Sonic thinks that he is Sonic and wants to replace the real Sonic.
Oh.
That was, I mean, maybe it was always intended, but, the old games didn't exactly have a lot going on in the plot department.
Right.
But it was the first time it was, like, fully established in a game was in Sonic Heroes. And that's kind of become part of Metal's character ever since. He wants to replace Sonic. He wants to become the real Sonic. Sonic Heroes also brought back the idea of him copying biodata from other characters.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different. He doesn't, copy their personalities. He just copies their abilities.
Like Kirby?
Yeah, kind of. And it's not just
like
Sonic.
Eggman?
I guess it's more like Mega Man, yeah. But he copies Shadow's biodata and then he can use Chaos Control, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The other big legacy thing from this episode is Sonic's favorite clothes.
He wears them again?
No, not officially, but it's a huge thing in the fan art community. People love to draw Sonic wearing his favorite clothes.
Good.
As far as I know, he's never been shown wearing them officially. I'm going to look it up right now, actually, just in case
They
I'm
need to
wrong.
get on that.
Because there might be a comic cover or something where he wore them.
I never even stopped to consider the shoes. What kind of weird elf shoes is he wearing?
Honestly, this looks like an outfit I would have been wearing in 1996.
I mean, the clothes are incredible. The color palette, impeccable.
Absolutely. We need to bring back this kind of fashion.
Yeah, we do.
Those are Sonic's favorite clothes, so don't blame me if he gets mad at you. Somebody made a Sonic Frontiers mod that puts him in this outfit.
Good.
But I'm not sure if they've ever officially resurfaced. I hope so. I really want to see the scene where he makes them put them on. I wish they had animated that. How did that play out?
I don't know. They need to do an animated short about it.
They need to do a retelling of the Sonic OVA, but entirely from the perspective of Old Man L.
That sounds incredible, and we need to crowdfund it.
Well, I guess I'm done. I've said everything
You're
I had to say.
telling me that Sarah was not a legacy character?
I don't know if Sarah ever appeared again. I would be willing to bet that she probably made a cameo in the Archie comics at some point. Let me see. Here she is. She's on the wiki. We'll see if there's any other appearances of her. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, wait. In other media? Okay, yes. She did make an appearance in the Archie Sonic comic. It looks like she only appeared trapped inside a tube in Robotnik space.
Oh, good.
Oh, it might have been as part of a multiverse crossover episode. Or issue, I don't know. I don't know much about Archie Sonic, and I'm okay with that.
Life is better not knowing.
Yeah, I don't need to know about the Pendersverse. This is the first multi-episode show that we've looked at where we've covered every episode.
Wow!
All two of them.
That's so impressive of us.
I wanted to say it was the first show we've covered in its entirety, but that's not true because we did Bubsy.
We did Bubsy and we did
Mars of Destruction. Yeah, forgot. You're right. Okay. We'll add this to the list. 3 shows we've completed.
Shows we've beaten.
We've defeated every facet of this show.
We got a 1 credit clear and a high score to boot.
Yeah. And then we put on Sonic's favorite clothes and he didn't get mad at us.
And we looked fly as hell.
Mel.
Mike.
Thank you for doing this show with me.
No problem. Isn't it some kind of Sonic-versary?
It is. Yes. When this episode goes up, it will have been 1 day after the 2nd anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for Sonic, whose birthday is fast approaching.
Yeah, for us, it's in 2 days. For the listeners, it was yesterday.
Happy birthday, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Thanks, Sonic. Happy anniversary.
Who's he married to?
Me. I love you as much as the first day we met, baby.
I kind of feel like I shouldn't be intruding on this personal moment.
That's okay. I invited you to share in our
To-
love as we renew our vows.
This is more just like a reading of vows at an awkward dinner.
I'm reading the vows to a photograph of Sonic the Hedgehog.
I just wanted to get some Arby's, and then you started monologuing.
Well, this is a Wendy's, first of all.
Arby's, Wendy's, they sound relatively the same.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks for spiraling into this Sonic-shaped hellscape with us.
If you'd like to help us afford better microphones, please consider going to patreon.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub and donating some money to get some cool outtakes.
And then maybe it won't sound like I'm talking through a potato stuffed in a styrofoam cup.
Maybe.
But probably not.
It's not a guarantee.
You could also throw some money at our coffee, at whatever our coffee is.
Coffee.com/superbreakfastfriendsclub.
The very same. You heard about it blasting over the PA system.
In your local hospital. You can find our Twitter at sbreakfastfc. The only place where I couldn't put in the full name because Elon Musk is controlling my speech.
I'm not gonna pay for your blue check mark.
Free speech absolutist my butt. Bye.
Inside your heart, you will find a special place to align. When you feel right, look at yourself. Inside your mind, you will seek a negativity.
Wow, we take 3 weeks off and this is what we shit out.
Yeah, just has to have the right consistency.
Consistency is key when you're talking about turds.